In today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys how you can fill your gaps and seams on your 3D printed props. Hey you guys, Uncle Jesse here, and I'm picking things back up on my Titanfall car SMG build. This thing has been long overdue, so I'm in the process right now of filling some of the seams and gaps from the printing process. What some of you might not be aware of is when you 3D print different things, props or whatever it may be, in multiple pieces, and then you go to put them together, they don't always fit perfectly flush, let's put it that way. Sometimes there are gaps. Here, I'll try to illuminate this here in the printing process where the piece actually lifted off the bed slightly during the printing process and causes a bit of a gap that you now have to fill in the post-processing work. Depending on the prop that you're working with, you might not do this whatsoever. On some of the props that I've printed, I haven't repaired any of them, but on a lot of them, I have gone in and tried to repair them as best I could, and I wanted to share a few of the tools that I use to actually fill them and my current favorite. Probably the number one that you hear folks talk about in the prop making world, not even 3D printed props, but even things like Pepakura, I was using this for quite some time, is Bondo. This is stuff that you use on your cars, on your boats, typically used for repairs, and it's almost like a clay material, and you mix a hardener with this material and then you apply it and you can fill in any of these seams or help build up on areas. This also helps in the long run when you have to go in and sand things down. It actually dries up and is very firm and allows you to sand it and gives you a nice smooth surface after repeated usage. This actually is fairly cheap. I think this huge container is only $20. Picked this up at Harbor Freight. I have really, for the most part, stopped using Bondo altogether, this actual body filler Bondo. The fumes on this are horrendous. I have to use this up in my garage. I have to have all the doors open. I have to have fans going. I have to have a respirator on. The stuff to sand is really not good for you to inhale or anything like that. And I prefer to work in my workshop here in my basement. So for the most part, I try to avoid this whenever possible. Next up on my list is Bondo Spot Putty. This stuff is actually great for small divots that you might have in your prints or small areas that you just need to fill. This is a little bit more runny than the actual larger Bondo. This is all pre-mixed. This does have some strong fumes to it, I guess you could say. It's not nearly as bad as the Bondo filler. This I use in the basement all the time. I really don't have any issues with it. You could typically wear gloves. If you don't, make sure to wash them off afterwards. And again, you can sand this after it dries. Again, it comes in these containers like this for about $3 to $5, depending on where you pick it up. And again, it's more for filling really small, fine holes, not large gaps that you might have. Here's an example of the Bondo Spot Putty where I've used this to help fill the seam line on this Doom mask. I printed it in two separate pieces, the top and the bottom, and after gluing them together, you'll see that there's a bump right in here. So what I've done is applied this spot filler to it, and now I just need to sand it down and more than likely fill some other additional areas that need to be filled. And on the back, you can see where the seam line is that connects these two pieces together. All right, and last up on the list is the one that I'm most excited to chat with you guys about, and it is wood filler. I'm using this Pro Bond wood filler that you can pick up at Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, any one of these types of home repair types of shops. This is typically used for projects around your house to repair divots in wood. This stuff works so well with my props. Here's a look at it applied to the Dread mask that I have. If you've seen the Dread print that I had, the actual top portion, I had some issues removing it from the base plate and I ripped off the top. It also didn't print very smooth on the underside because that's where all of the support material was resting. So I've gone in and applied this wood filler to it, and you can see it's dried and very stiff and hard. So all I have to do is take some 80, 120, whatever it may be, sandpaper and go over this, and it's gonna really start to smooth it out. And here you can see on the sides where I've already started applying that. What I'm gonna do over here is just show you an example of a Doom mask that I printed previously. This is one of my old ones that I printed on a much smaller printer than I have today. And you can see here, it might be a little hard to see, but I'll try and get a better look at it here, where there is multiple seam lines, because I printed this on I think like a 4x4 or a 5x5 print bed. And in order to fill this, it's gonna be a pain here if I wasn't using something like this wood filler. So all I would do is the wood filler is take it and again, start filling in the seams. And here I just use my fingers to run it along the edges of the seams and begin filling it in. It's super easy to work with. There are 0 fumes that I can smell from this. Nothing nearly as strong as with Bondo. And again, it dries fairly quickly here, so I can not have to wait hours. I can continue working on another project while this dries and then come back in, I don't know, 20 minutes or so, and it's ready for me to start sanding. So this I don't know, this product is just a wonderful, wonderful solution for me, since again, I prefer working out of my house, or maybe if you're trying to build props in your dorm room or apartment and you don't want to have your neighbors complaining about fumes, this is an absolute great solution for you. So here you can see very quickly I have filled a whole bunch of these seams on the prop, and just using my finger. I'm not using any special tools at all for this other than my fingers, and it's incredible. I honestly can't believe how well this product works. And then I was trying to see if I had something that had a larger gap in it. I mean, the best thing that I had at the moment, actually, here's a good one here. So in between the helmet here, is in the forehead is, you know, a fairly decent sized gap. So all I'm doing again is just taking this and pressing it into that seam. And it's really gonna help fill that in without me having to hassle with spot putty and all of that. I mean, I don't even think spot putty would have worked that well in this situation here. This is just really, really great. So you could, if you didn't even want to use things like XTC 3D, you could also go over the entire mask like I'm doing here with this product to help, again, help smooth out the print lines that you might have so that you can't really tell that it's a 3D printed prop here. So after about 20 minutes or so, it'll dry up and allow you to go back in and sand. Here is just an example of, again, the top piece of the Dread helmet. And I just want to show you here, I've got a sanding block that I typically use. So here I can go in and just start sanding away. And it leaves you with a really nice smooth finish. So this was just a quick look at some of the tools that I use to fill gaps and seams in my 3D printed props, and I just wanted to share this with you guys today. So again, anytime that I find any tips or tricks that I think you guys might enjoy or that I'm personally enjoying, I'm gonna make sure to share them with you guys. So if you're interested in any of these products, make sure to check out the links down below. I'll include links to them to an affiliate link that will help out the channel here. Thank you guys very much. Also, thank you to all of my subscribers. I am very, very excited. Just recently hit 20,000 subscribers. Absolutely maddening. So wanted to say thank you again, guys. But hey, thanks again for watching, you guys, and I gotta get back to doing some more sanding and filling. I can't wait to get this Zelda Master Sword put together, cleaned up, and I'm sure I'll be putting a video together for you guys on this one. So cool, so cool. Thanks for watching, you guys.